Hello Zainey friends, thank you for joining us today. We have a collab where Marshall buys makeup, and we are doing this collab with our friend Aura over at OopswrongCookie. And basically how this works is we just decided an amount of money and a theme, and then Marshall went in and bought makeup for both of us. Yeah. So before we start, make sure you don't miss any of our interactive opportunities. Like, subscribe, share, follow us in that newsletter. Down below there's a little link. Go ahead and click on that. So make sure you aren't missing anything there. Also, our social media is here for you as well. Yes. Comment down below if you are interested in doing this with us as well. We have a couple other people doing this later on in the month. So yeah, we're super excited to do this.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun.
Yeah. So what is the theme for this video?
This video, our theme is multitaskers. So everything in here needs to be able to be used for more than one thing. But we're not going to stop there, because I think we need to talk about something else.
Usually when I do my makeup, we have to talk about something else, yeah. So
because otherwise there isn't a lot of reason to have me here. Hi.
Probably not.
So, what we're going to talk about is the shows that we watch while we're doing other things.
Because when we watch TV, we don't like to just sit there and watch TV unless we're having a particularly lazy day. Most of the time we're working on something else as well. So
we did just have a lazy day, though.
We did.
We just burnt through Defenders.
Yeah, we kind of did. So what we're doing for this particular video is, Marshall bought me actually two things. The first one is the Lorac Unzipped Ocean Sunset palette, which I will show you in a second. And also the number 7 lipstick, which I've never had anything from number 7. And this is in the shade Dark Berry. Obviously this is not the multitasker. This is just lip color. I could use it as blush, but I'm not going to. I'm basically going to use this entire palette on my face. The only thing I've done on my face right now is foundation, primer, eyebrows, and mascara. Everything else is going to be from this palette. It did come with the Lorac Behind the Scenes eye primer, which I've already put on as well. So we're gonna do this. So first off, the packaging with this is really interesting, because if you can see, there's like folds on the top of the packaging, and you can kind of lift it up like this.
That's really cool.
It's interesting, right? Okay, so the inside of it does not have a mirror, probably for the purpose of being interesting like that. But when I saw this, the colors just really, it called to me. Like when he picked it up and he was like, this one, I'm like, yes. This one right here, really pretty. Really pretty. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. For my face, I'm actually going to use this color right here. This is called Bedrock. I'm going to use it as a bronzer contour. This shade right here called Sundown, I'm going to use as a blush. And then Mother of Pearl is going to be a highlighter. And so I'm going to do that first before I even get to my eye look. Actually, I take that back. I think I'm going to use Horizon, maybe.
There's so many good colors, she can't figure out which ones to use.
I don't know if I should use the lighter one or the darker one. I'm afraid of using this darker one. I fear it'll be too dark for me. Or it should be this lighter one.
Go for it.
The darker one? Okay, we'll go with the dark one and go from there. So while I'm doing this, because I'm going to be probably trying to figure out what I'm doing, are you going to talk about what we're talking about?
Well, actually, first we're gonna get into why we have the lipstick that isn't actually a multitasker. I do try to make sure that there is a complete face when we're doing this. Yes. I don't want to just get you like one or two things and then you have to fill in the rest. So given this theme of multitaskers, that palette was able to be used for a whole lot of different things. So we just needed to finish it off, and that's why we gave her the lipstick as well. Right. That way she would still have a full face, even though, you know. Yeah.
Yep, that's what he tries to do. But, you know, at least it's going to be the eyes and the lips, and then he'll do the rest of the face depending on the money amount that he's been given.
Yeah, and how much I have left. I do like to get you highlighters and bronzers, if I can, and other contouring stuff, but it all kind of depends on the theme and how much money I have to work with.
That is true.
Okay, so when I'm doing my work, I've got a lot of heavy graphics work to do. I've got a lot of illustration. So a lot of my stuff happens either like on a laptop computer. Yes, I know it's not actually a laptop computer, but I use it like a laptop.
Tablet.
It's a tablet with a keyboard. So and then I have a lot of stuff that I do by hand. And so what I'll end up doing is I'll be sitting in the living room watching on the TV, or I'll be right right back there, and I'll be using both my monitors. And on the left-hand monitor, I will turn on my Funimation channel, and I might watch, like, lately I've been going through Dragon Ball Z, because one of the shows that I review for Bubble Blabber is the series that comes after that, Dragon Ball Super. And I realized I didn't finish watching Z. So I just kind of going back through that, and I'm almost done with that. But watching on Netflix when I'm out in the main room, I watch a show called Little Witch Academia, which is a really cute show. It's kind of like what if Hogwarts was entirely a girls' school. It was an all-girls school. And it's really funny, really cute, focusing all around this one girl who's a complete ditz and just bullheaded. But she means well. And it's really fun.
For the eye look, I think I'm going to go with this color right here called High Tide. And I'm going to put that all over my lid, all across it. And then in the crease, I think I'm going to put down a little bit of Horizon and then a little bit of Stingray. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to do a Horizon and a little bit of Sea Urchin. There's that purple right up there. And then on my lid, I'm going to go in with Salt Water. It's this really awesome, like, I don't know. It's
slightly bluish, shimmery silver.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm going to do that, I think. And then what I'm going to do is go in with Stingray, and it's going to act as a liner. So I'm going to place that just right around my mascara line. I might go in with Mother of Pearl up at the top. I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay. Because that's got a little bit of shimmer to it as well, right? So,
it does.
So it'd be kind of like blending from the salt water back into a natural tone.
Probably, yes.
With a shimmer?
Probably.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good. So basically what I end up doing is I'll just watch whatever I can get my hands on. If I'm in the main room, I'm watching Netflix. And when I'm in here, I'm watching Funimation.
So why do you choose to watch Netflix in the main room versus in here?
My computer's already set up to watch Funimation pretty regularly. So I can watch it on a dual screen, where I've not really for some reason, liked watching Netflix on my laptop or on my computer. I've always felt like Netflix was a little bit more of a big screen thing, so we watch it on the big screen in the living room. But I could go either way. Funimation's a little hard to get on the Roku though. I tried it once and it didn't quite work out. We have cut the cable around here.
Cut the cable. I got really distracted because this is what happened with my eyes right now. I am not the biggest fan of the Lorac primer that I used, and you can kind of tell. I laid down the eyeshadow, and okay, the greatest thing about that Lorac primer is that once you put something on it, it stays. But the problem is I'm having a really hard time blending over the top of the primer.
Gotcha.
And so I'm getting kind of a little bit distracted.
Because it's giving you too much tack?
Yeah, it's sticking on there and the brush doesn't really want to go too well. So what I think I'm going to do is, because it's a little splotchy, I'm going to go in with the other colors and see if I can't blend it over with maybe a different type of brush and see if that will make any sort of difference whatsoever.
Okay.
So that's why I'm not answering a lot of questions in this one. I'm kind of just focusing on what I'm doing.
As far as what shows I tend to like to watch while I'm working, it's those that aren't exceptionally intense. Stuff that you can typically just have the audio in the background. So while I am quite used to watching anime without any, without understanding what they're saying and just having the subtitles, I can't do that while I'm working. It just doesn't work because I won't pick up anything.
That's true, yeah. That's kind of one of the reasons why it's hard for me to watch shows when I'm working on other things. I used to be able to do it, but ever since my hearing has gotten so much worse, I haven't really been able to do things and watch TV at the same time. I always have to be watching something that I've seen before, or something that's like really action-packed where you don't have to listen to what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can't have very heavy plot.
Yes, that's just true.
And the other thing is, like, watching some of those shows, like the Netflix shows, out in the main room. I can do that while I'm doing dishes and things like that because our kitchen faces the television.
Yeah, so you can stand there and do stuff while you're...
while I'm watching. It works out well. Are you able to tell us any of your favorite shows to watch while you work?
Well, right now I'm just kind of going through whatever shows need to be watched. But if we're talking about like shows where I am multitasking, doing other things, Marshall and I watch America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
While we're doing that. because, number one, I've seen them all. Except for the very most recent episode, I haven't seen that one because it was not on CW. It was on VH1. Yeah. So I watched that one. I didn't watch that one, I mean to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we watched America's Next Top Model a little bit.
That's the main one that the two of us watch together when we're working in the main room. And yeah, I watch it as well because you know, I'm not always the best person on camera, and that does kind of give me hints and tips to try and get better at talking to you.
What do you feel like? How do you feel that show does help you?
It's more of like, every once in a while, I might pick up some sort of hint about how they appear in front of camera. Mm-hmm. You know, because they're always having to not only look good, but they also have to try and connect with the person, and they have to actually, through the photo, convey energy to the other person that's looking at the photo, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that's all what YouTube is. Like, I have to sit here and be almost like I'm in the room with you guys. And I'm not always that good at it, but I'm trying. I try for you. So
I'm a little disappointed about this saltwater color because it is not going on like I thought it was going to. Again, I don't know if it has to do with the primer or what's happening. I tried to put it on with my finger. It kind of isn't the same. It's like just glitter. That's what it looks like.
So none of the silvery blue is actually coming off. It's just the silver.
It's just silver glitter, and I don't really know what to do about that right now. I'm a little about it, to be honest. I'm just going to put a little bit of this shimmer color up here. I think I might actually go in. There's this sandbar color that's like more of a deeper gold sparkle. I might put that in instead because that might go on a little bit better. Let me get another brush. So it's this color right here, sandbar. I might put that on my lids instead and see if that goes on a little better because, ooh, that actually is a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
I like that a lot. So maybe like that saltwater can just be more of like a small highlight color.
Maybe use a little bit of it on the cheek here.
No.
No?
No, that's just...
She doesn't like
I have glitter all over my face. Just no.
Looks like me coming home from working at Hobby Lobby.
Yes.
When it's in the holiday season, you work at a Hobby Lobby, you're going to be covered in glitter of all sorts of colors.
Totally covered. You like it. So this one, I'm taking just a small little brush, and I'm going to put that in Stingray, and just dab it along my lash line. And since this is going to take a lot of my concentration, turning it back over to Marshall.
Out of those two shows, I'm actually really kind of bored with the Dragon Ball Z, because the plot line is almost non-existent. The problem that they have with this it's a really old show, so let's just be straight up there. They didn't have the level of plot development that they have in these days with a lot of television. They just kind of went with their concept and kept going. It's just more of the same. I feel like the show was a lot better in its earlier runs, where there was actually a constant build-up of the plot till you got to the final fight, and now it's just an entire season of two guys fighting. It kind of gets boring. Yeah. But that's why it makes it good for me to watch while I'm multitasking, because you have a little bit of plot once an episode, and then it's all over.
This is my final look. Let me tell you my thoughts. First, let's start with this. This is really creamy, and I like the formula a lot. However, I probably should have used a lip liner because I can see that it's feathering already. And honestly, like, my foundation that I use today, I don't know what's happening. I'm having an off day when it comes to my foundation, so I just feel like it's all kind of blah. As far as this palette, there are some color. I actually really like the majority of the colors in here. I think this one was the only one that I'm really disappointed about, which is sad because that's one of the reasons why I was so happy to get this. But I feel overall it is a good palette, and I'm really excited to try it with a different primer and to see if it doesn't like make everything stick. Like, you can kind of tell I was able to blend it out a little bit, but this eye is definitely more than this eye. You can tell that. But I don't think it's so bad that it's so overt. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry we didn't talk about a lot of, like, multitasking things as far as TV goes. It's kind of hard to, like, come up with these things sometimes, so sorry about that. But at least you saw a look and you got to see me use this, and you got to see what Marshall does when he buys makeup, which, you know, he really does try to take into account things that you might not use, or he really does try to take into account things you might not have or things that you haven't used before, so that you can do this kind of a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
Stay zany.
Bye-bye.